Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed building video. So in today's video I'm going to be building a modern house, and I haven't actually built a modern house in a very long time. I built a modern smallish kind of house when I first started my channel, and I've had my channel for quite a long time now. I think you can actually see it in the background of this video because I built it in the same world. But I've done like a modern mansion and stuff, but I haven't actually built like a kind of normal-ish kind of size modern house. I don't know if this is considered to be a tiny house because it's not that small, but it's very compact, this house. There's a lot of stuff in a very small space. I tried to fit as much in as I possibly could. So I don't know if I could actually class this as a tiny house. I don't actually know what I'm going to title this video. By the time this video goes up, this house could actually have like a name or something. I don't know. But it is kind of a very small space, but I wanted to fit as much in as I possibly can. This house, I actually used a picture to kind of go off. And I actually saved this picture, which I found on Pinterest about 6 months ago. It was a long time. It might have even been before I started my channel, but I just never actually got around to building it until now. And I'm really, really happy that I actually went in and built this today because it was kind of just staring at me in my Pinterest. And I really, really wanted to build it, and I just hadn't got around to it. And I decided that today I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to build it, and I'm so happy with the overall result. I absolutely love it. I think the front of the house is probably my favourite part of the house. I used some wall objects, like some wall decor objects, which we got with Get Famous, and they kind of look like sliding. And so when I was actually I didn't do it here. I kind of was coming back to it, and then I kind of thought about it, but I saw these wall objects, and if you size them up, they look like a garage door. But when I sized them up, they actually went through the roof a little bit onto the upstairs balcony, and so I actually sized them like into their regular size. So I kind of sized them down again, and they slotted in perfectly. I didn't have to change the size of the wall or anything like that. It was literally like they were meant to be in that little space. It just worked perfectly. And another thing which I really, really liked is, normally if something kind of shows on the wall, like if I put something on the wall and I size it down and then I go into like the 3-wall mode, if it floats, that aggravates me. And when I put it down, and when I made it, I was a little bit scared that it could float and would kind of irritate me, but it doesn't. It literally just fits in perfectly, and I'm really, really happy with it. But now I'm just doing the little windows in this house, and we don't actually have that many black windows in the game, like black modern windows. We don't have a lot of. We have like Windenburg kind of style windows, you know, like the kind of country style, but we don't actually have that many plain black modern windows. It's kind of like we don't have a plain black modern door or a plain white modern door. It's kind of like that situation. We don't actually have many. We have a few. We have 2 or 3 that we got with Get Famous. We have like a big rectangular one, which I've used on the upstairs, a small kind of rectangle, which I also used on the upstairs, and then kind of like a square version of that rectangle. But we don't actually have any just normal kind of modern windows, because the ones that I use, I don't really tend to use it often because they're kind of bulky and I don't really tend to go for them. I mean, they fitted in with this house, but I just kind of want some more modern windows, and just I want modern windows, I want modern doors. But I did actually use the door from Get Famous in this, which is actually a really nice modern door. So I mean, I want modern interior doors, so modern doors that I can use to go to bedrooms and all that kind of stuff. I want some more of them. I feel like we've got enough of modern outside doors, if that's the word, like exterior doors, but I just want some more. I just want some more stuff in the game, basically. I'm a little bit greedy. I just want some more modern windows, but I think everyone kind of wants some more of everything in the game at the minute. But yeah, anyway, so as you can see, I've kind of just done a little bit of the landscaping, and I actually used a lot of greenery. I didn't want to put too many flowers down. I kind of imagined that this house was for 2 bachelors, so maybe 2 mates, they've just come out of uni or whatever, and they got their first house together. They're kind of just like sharing until they find their feet kind of thing. Although this isn't a starter house, I originally wanted to make it kind of like 30,000-40,000, kind of in that price range, but I think it ended up being around like 75,000. So it's definitely not a starter house, but like I said, I imagined that 2 young men lived here and they just moved in together, and I kind of gave them backstories. I kind of imagined, well, I gave one of them a backstory. I imagined one of them was kind of like a music producer, and that's why I actually put the music station in his room. Now, I've placed it in lots, but I haven't actually used it. Like, I've placed it in my Feng apartment, which I did, but I just haven't got around to using it, and I don't know why, but I think that's a really cool thing to have in the game, but I just haven't done it yet. But when I go in and I play with this house, I'm definitely going to make him like a music producer or whatever. I think that's a really cool thing to have in the game, but I haven't played with it for some reason. But yeah, so I kind of, that was kind of like his backstory. The other one, I'm not really sure. I think he's just anyone you can make any kind of person to live in the other room. I mean, you can make anyone to live in this house. You don't actually have to go with my backstory. I always like giving my build backstories of the people that live there, because sometimes when I am watching someone's speed build or whatever and they give a backstory, it kind of like inspires me to then go into the game and make something similar. I just kind of like giving my houses backstories. Obviously, you don't have to stick to them if you don't want to. That's kind of your decision. But that's just kind of what I like to do. But anyway, we are now moving on into the back garden. So I wanted this house to have like a patio. I wanted to do kind of like a really modern kind of chill place that they can invite their friends over and they can chill out and, you know, have a barbecue or whatever they want to do. I wanted to create that. And normally if I do tiny houses, I don't really tend to do a back garden. I don't really know why, but I wanted this one to definitely have just kind of like a luxurious area out the back for them to go and chill, maybe after work or if they put their friends around or something like that. So I tried to put as much stuff in this small little space as I could, and I had the biggest mare with it because I used terrain manipulation in this build, like because I wanted the driveway to not be on the foundation, so I kind of moved it up. And with the back garden, it was such a struggle. I kept on having to go in and move it up and move it down, and I'm not very advanced with the terrain tools yet. I'm still learning. I'm trying to teach myself, but it's a very slow process. I can't figure out how to. There's a way in the terrain manipulation where you can kind of move it to the height that you want to, and I was sitting there for the longest time trying to figure out how to make it all that one same height, and eventually I did it, but it took me quite a long time. But I wanted this patio to kind of have like a jacuzzi and like some sofas and all that kind of stuff, and I really wanted a jacuzzi in it, and I think you can tell that because I place it in and then I delete it because it was too small, like the area was too small, and then I keep on putting it in and out, like I keep on deleting it and then putting it back in, but eventually it does actually have a jacuzzi. I wanted there to kind of be like a little chill spot, so like either a pool or jacuzzi, but this house, the back garden was way too small for a pool. I mean, I could have done one, but it would have literally been like 3 tiles by 2, so it wouldn't have been very big. I wanted to kind of keep it on this little terrain painted bit. I didn't want to like move it around the sides or anything. I kind of just wanted it to be right out the back door. But eventually I did it, and I'm really happy that I did it because I really wanted them to have a jacuzzi. I thought that 2 young bachelors, they'd probably want a jacuzzi and all that kind of stuff, and so I'm really, really happy that I added that. But I did also add like the little barbecue station, and I added the sofas from, I think it's Perfect Patio, and I always tend to use them when I do back gardens because they're the most modern ones that we have. Like for seating for outside, I always just tend to go for them, but I kind of wish that we had some more because I feel like I overuse them like all the time. Like I'm consistently going for them in my game, and I kind of just want some more modern stuff. I mean, I could use some interior sofas for the exterior, but I just felt like I just want some more. I said this a minute ago, but I just want some more stuff in the game, some more modern stuff. That would be great. But as you can see, I'm just kind of finishing up the back garden now, and I just added some little candles and some little clutter items. This house isn't that cluttered. I know I absolutely love compiling loads of stuff into small spaces with clutter and all that kind of stuff, but I imagine that they're very minimalist. If I don't know if I can actually say that right, but they're very like everything has a place, and everything they have for a reason. And so I didn't want to absolutely go mental with the cluttering, and so I kind of kept it to a bare minimum, because I just didn't want it. I wanted it to have that really modern kind of feel in this house, and so I think I did it quite well. It's quite hard because if you've watched my previous videos, you know that I absolutely love cluttering everything up and making it look lived in and realistic and all that kind of stuff. but I didn't do it in this build. I did it to the extent where it looks lived in, but it doesn't look cluttered. It just kind of looks like, right, that's that place and that's the place for that and all that kind of stuff. I wanted everything to basically have its place and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm just finishing up the back garden, and I actually deleted the tree and then I re-added a different tree because the tree that I originally put there when I was doing the landscaping, it was kind of going over the hot tub, and I thought it might be a bit annoying when you're in the game and you want to go in the hot tub and there's kind of like a tree dangling over your head, so I replaced it with a smaller tree. But now we're on to the interior, and I actually used the cool kitchen stuff counters, which I think I've used the counters in this swatch once. I don't think I've used it that often, and I really like this swatch. It matches with the door perfectly, so I was really happy with that. But I wanted there to be quite a nice spacious kitchen, and originally when I actually went in to do the kitchen, I was thinking about putting an island in the kitchen, which I don't know why I was thinking that, because it is a very small house for what it's got in it, and so I don't know why I decided let's try and do an island. But I obviously scrapped the idea and I just kind of did like a little kind of, I don't know what it's called, like a circular kitchen. It's not really circular, it's more like rectangular, but it's kind of like an L and then like another L kind of thing, so it's all kind of like in that little confined space, and I just really like it. I used the tiles that we got from base game because they're my favourite tiles we have in the game. They're so modern and they're just so they're just so nice. I absolutely love them tiles. But now I'm just moving on and just cluttering up the kitchen just a little bit, not so it's completely bare, just so it looks, you know, lived in and stuff like that. So I added some like olive jars and just some bits and bobs and like a coffee machine because I felt like they'd need a coffee machine in this house. But now I'm just doing the little dining area bit, and I actually got to use the Get Famous table, which I absolutely love, but I never really find a place for it because I normally tend to just build suburban kind of houses, and I feel like that table doesn't really go in a normal family suburban house, and so I got to use it in this house, and I'm so happy that I got to use it. And here I'm just moving on into the lounge room. So here I kind of placed objects, like I kept on moving them and stuff because I wanted your Sims to be able to actually access every single point of this house. I didn't want I didn't want some of the objects to not be accessible. But I don't normally do this because normally I place objects quite like easily for your Sims to get to. But because of this build, I actually went in after I built this and I play tested this house, and you can get to absolutely everything in this house. You can get to all 4 of the chairs on the dining table. You can sit on the sofa, you can sit on the armchair, and then upstairs I also play tested that, but we'll get to that in a bit. So your Sims will be able to live in this house. There won't be any problems like that. I just wanted to make sure before I uploaded it to the gallery that everything was just kind of, you could use everything, because there was no point there being like 4 chairs and you not be able to use them. So I definitely had to play test it, but luckily I didn't actually have to change anything and it all just fits in absolutely perfectly. But now I'm just moving on into kind of like the little entrance bit. Although it's all kind of like in together, this is kind of like where you're walking through the door, and so I put like a little umbrella rack. And originally I was going to use this bookcase from City Living, and I love this bookcase, one of my favourite ones in the game. But then I kind of thought about the floor plan upstairs, and then I kind of realised that the bedrooms upstairs wouldn't be big enough to have a desk in each, or just either one of the bedrooms wouldn't have a desk in. And so I kind of decided to delete it and then put like a desk kind of area, like kind of like a study area downstairs. So this is kind of the computer that they can both use. Just because I like having computers in my builds. Although this build has a lot of stuff in it, there's like jacuzzis and all that kind of stuff, I still want your Sims to be able to come home and play a game on the computer if they're stressed out from work, because normally my Sims come home and they're really stressed, and the solution is just get them to play a game on the computer for like an hour and they're fine. So I definitely wanted to add a desk into here, so that's why I just deleted the bookcase. Although I really wish that I could have the bookcase in this build, I kind of accept that I'd rather have a desk than a bookcase. But now I'm just moving on to the upstairs, and I actually changed the floor plan because originally the bedroom that kind of leads out onto the balcony was a little bit bigger than the other one, but I actually decided to make them the exact same shape and size, just so it's a little bit equal, like they both got equal size rooms, no one's got like the superior room or anything like that. But I didn't actually add anything onto the balcony upstairs, so there is kind of like sliding doors, and I didn't actually add any windows into that room. because a lot of light comes in from them doors, but there isn't anything on that balcony. I decided just to keep it plain and modern and bare. I think it looks better that way. Obviously, if you download this, you can add stuff up there, but I just didn't feel like it needed anything. There's kind of a lot of stuff on the garden, like in the exterior garden, like downstairs anyway, so I didn't really feel like I needed to add anything anyway. But now I'm just wallpapering the rooms, and I really like that Spa Day mint blue. Is it mint blue? I'm not sure what kind of blue it is, but it's a really nice blue, and I used that. And I think it's a fitness stuff wallpaper as well. I wanted the whole house to be very white, but then in their rooms I wanted there to be a feature wall, and so that's why I kind of did like kind of just one wall of each, and I feel like it really works, and it just kind of goes together really nicely. But I am now just moving on and just trying to figure out where to put all of the objects in this room. Like I said, I wanted everything to be like accessible, like you can use everything in this house, and so I had a bit of trouble trying to figure out the kind of way everything that was going to sit in the room. But the dresser was definitely the hardest thing to try and figure out. Like, I couldn't find a dresser that fitted in that space until I found the IKEA. I call it the IKEA furniture. It's the tall wardrobe which I've used. I just refer to that as like the IKEA furniture because there's like a dresser and bedside table and all that from IKEA that look exactly the same. So I use that instead, and your Sims can get round to the bed, they can go out on the balcony, they can do all that kind of stuff, and they can also like use the mirror and all that. Like I said, I play tested this house, so everything in this you can use. And in this room, the room with the balcony, I actually decided to add a TV. Although I don't think our Sims can actually use it, which is really sad, because I want to be able to have my Sims watch TV in bed. But obviously we can't. I don't think they can anyway. I've tried it before and they normally just stand up, which is annoying. But there is a TV in this room as well. So this room kind of has like the TV, and the other room kind of has like a music station. So there is kind of something to do in both the rooms. It's not just kind of like an empty room kind of thing. There is kind of stuff for your Sims to do in here. But now I am moving on into the last bedroom, or the second bedroom, and I actually used the bed from Get Famous, which I don't really tend to use. I'm not really a massive fan of it, but I really like the bed. It sounds really weird. I really like the bed sheets in this. It's just kind of like a nice plain black bed sheet with like white linen. It's just really nice. I don't know, it sounds a bit strange, but I really like it. But I just am finishing up this room, just adding some bits and bobs, adding some photos, and I actually added the music station here, and then I realised that I kind of needed to shift the room around a little bit, and there was like a really awkward window, but I was thinking about deleting it, but in the end I just kept it because I didn't want to disrupt the exterior or anything like that. But yeah, so I'm just going to finish up this house, and I'm actually going to finish up this voiceover here. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me build this little modern house, and as always, if you do like my content, then please subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next speed building video. Bye guys!